Hello everyone and welcome. It's Shanna. So glad you're here today. Now today we're working with Spellbinders products again, and we've got the Mantle Village and the Mantle Decorations etched die set that goes with it. And I'm bringing in a bunch of scrap Spellbinders paper. These small dies are great to use up your scraps, and so that's what I'm going to be doing with my card today. And I'm going to be doing quite a bit of die cutting here with all these little pieces. And so I will speed it up, otherwise it would be a really long video if I left all of this in and did not speed it up. So I'm going to do my houses in white, and I'm going to use, I'm basically going to use black, white, red, green, and then brown for our deer is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to just get my houses die cut out of white. I'm thinking of kind of those barn dominiums that are white and black that you see popping up. I don't know if you guys have them in your area, but they're popping up all over the place in black and white. And so I was kind of thinking of that as I was deciding what I was going to do with this card. And then I'm going to bring my trees, my pine trees and or Christmas trees or whatever you want to call them, and die cut them out of green. And then we're just going to get all this die cutting done. Like I said, I've sped it up, so hopefully it's not too annoying to you, but we're going to do the, I'm going to do the shadow of the house in black, which you'll find out later that it's not necessarily that I do it that way, because I do use a black panel to set this house on. And I wanted 3 trees instead of 2. You get 2 trees with this set. You get 2 houses, 2 trees, the mantle shelf, the 2 front doors that match the 2 houses, and then the stems for the trees. And then in the add-on, you get a banner, a couple of deer, you get some greenery and some stockings, and you've got the Merry Christmas or Happy Holiday banner, which is what I'm die cutting out right here in the red. I'm doing 3 passes of it because I want to have enough R's for my Merry Christmas. And so I'm doing a multiple pass. I actually need 3 R's, and I'm going to need 2 M's. So I'm going to do 3 passes of that. And now I'm just poking the windows out of the little house, and I'm going to lay it down on this piece of black scrap that I had there. But also included in that mantle decorations, you get some greenery, like you could make like a swag for your mantle if you wanted to. You get some holly leaves and some holly berries, and you get, like I said, you get your Christmas stockings and with little hoops that you could attach them. And you also get a little banner that you could put some little beads on, or some sparkle or something like that. But this is a really cute set, and I would recommend that you get both sets. I will link everything in the description box below. If you get both sets, you'll just have more functionality with it. And I think you could use this all year round. It doesn't specifically have to be Christmas. You could do a lot of different fun things with it. So it is a really cute set. Now I am laying both of these houses down and getting them situated, but once I get down to it, I ultimately will only use one of the houses because I just don't have enough landscape on my card for everything that I want to do. So this house, it has a rounded door. This could almost be like a little church. It kind of reminds me of a church, just maybe the shape of it or something. I don't know. You could put a little cross on that where that chimney is and make it look like a church. I think you could do that. So here I'm just taking the letters and laying them down on here. And I will speed this up too, because this takes a good amount of time, because we've got several letters that we're going to get laid down on here. And they lay down real easy. Just die cut the banner out, and then the letters, the insides of the letters pop out very easily. And if you're careful and save them, you could spell, Merry Christmas with just the insides of it. Or a lot of different things, because you've got several letters there, so you could probably come up with a lot of different words that you could use for that. And I'm just picking through here trying to find the letters that I can find. And I'm grabbing them as I see them, so I might not be laying them down in order. And then that gets me in trouble on my Christmas, because I actually lay one down on the wrong thing, because I get ahead of myself. But I find a quick solution for it. But anyway, So these go down pretty quickly. It just takes, it's a little bit time consuming because there's a bunch of little pieces and you're trying to get the glue on there and not make a mess and line them up. So I did speed them up. But this is, I like a black and white Christmas card. I like with a hint of red. And so I like the colors that I've got selected here that I'm going to use. And I think the green looks really nice too with it as well, with the leaves. And so what I did was I just die cut out another black banner and just cut it apart and laid it over the one that I accidentally put the A on that didn't belong. And I put the correct letter on there, M, and then just covered it up and laid it on there, and no one will ever know that I had made that little error. So now we've got our Merry Christmas banner, and you can swag those two across your shelf. Now you could do a wooden shelf in a brown or, whatever. I decided to do a white since I was going with black and white for this card theme. Now I'm just trying to get all these bits and pieces out of my way here and out of the view so you don't have to look at all the stuff that I have laying there. And I've got my deer, and I've cut out 2 sets of antlers, and then I thought I probably only needed one because I think one's probably a buck and the other's a doe. But I'm only going to use the buck anyway. But I'm going to bring in my blending brush and just put a little color on here to have a just kind of a two-tone look on my tree, like a shadow and a highlight. And then we'll bring in our tree trunks or our, stems or whatever you want to call them. That's the tree trunk stand, I guess is what I meant to say. And I'm just going to bring in some brown. I think I'm using vintage photo here on this and just kind of adding a little bit of dimension to those. And we'll just get them. I'm flipping them over. I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on there and then lay the stands right on there. So we'll just get those pressed down. And there we go. We've got all 3 of our trees. So I decided to do 2 of the pine trees and then one of the more triangular tree. And I'm going to get my desk cleaned up. And I don't know why, because I think I do some more blending and make a mess anyway. So I'm just taking what's left on there and kind of going across my little white mantle. And now's where I'm kind of laying my houses on there, trying to figure out how I'm going to make everything fit. It's not a very big shelf. But it will fit on an A2 size portrait. You can stand it up that way because it's only 3 3/4 inches. The shelf is, so you can definitely use it on A2 upright. Now here I'm bringing in my antlers, and I've brought in a darker ink. Can't think of what it is. It's another brown. It is ground espresso is what it is. And I'm just going to ink up these antlers. Like I said, I've got 2 sets of them here, but I realized that I really only need 1 set, and I wind up only using 1 deer. So I like the dark color on them. It turned out nice. I don't think you can really see it laying there on that piece of white paper. But I'm going to look at my deer and decide which one I want to put the antlers on. And I decide I want it the one with the head down. And so I'm going to put one of the antlers on the back of the head. So I'm just putting a little dab of glue on that antler that I've got there. And I'm going to squeeze it with my tweezers. And then I'm going to get the other one and put it on the top of the head. And that way it looks like you've got one on one side of the head and one on the other side. And I'm going to ink up my deer as well, just to give it a little bit of dimension. And we'll do the other one. And then we're just going to clean off this desktop and get ready to assemble our card. So I got my desk cleaned off. I needed to grab a card base and make it. I didn't have any made. So I've just got a hammer mill 110 pound. I'm just scoring it at 4 1/4. And it's going to be a top folding card. Now I really wanted to use this black and white buffalo checked paper, but I didn't have a full sheet. I didn't have anything that would cover up an A2 size card. So I thought I'm going to use it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just making strips, and I'm just lining it up against the edge of my trimmer there. And I think it's probably a half of an inch. I didn't measure it, but it looked like, because the trimmer starts at 1 inch, and we've got a little bit of space in there. So I think it's about a ½ inch strip. Anyway, and I'm just going to cut several of these up, and I'm going to lay them on my white card base and just create a design. You won't see the design very much because of the panel that I'm going to lay on there, but I like the thought of it, and that's what I did. So I'm just going to take these strips, and I've done this before in some of my scrap cards that I've had on my channel, where you just take a bunch of different scraps that are actually all different sizes and just kind of lay them across there, and you can do a lot of different colors and stuff like that and create a pretty neat panel. So I'm just doing it with this buffalo plaid, and I sped this up because it did take a minute, and you kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. And then we'll get this all laid down here, and we've created some buffalo plaid card base that I didn't really have enough materials for. And I needed a couple more pieces, so I just brought in another scrap. I had like 3 scraps that just were good sizes, but not enough for an A2 size panel. So you can see I've just laid them across there, and we're just going to clean them up off the back, trim it up, and now we've got that. And I think it looks neat. Like I said, you're not going to see much of it because I'm going to lay this panel down. Now, I will cut this panel down. It's not even cut evenly. I don't know what I did with this panel, but so I'm going to trim it up, and we'll lay it down here on our buffalo plaid paper. I had dropped that shelf on the floor, and I had to go down digging for it, so that's what I'm doing now. And now I'm going to bring in my Spellbinders guillotine, and we'll get this cut down. I think I make a couple cuts on it. I think first I go 5 1/4 by 4, and then I'm like, I just don't see enough of that buffalo plaid, and I'm trying to decide, can I fit everything on there? So then I go down to 3 3/4 by 5, and I'll have plenty of room for what I'm going to use on there. Yeah, and that looks better because you can see more of my buffalo plaid around there. And then it's still big enough for that shelf. So I'm just going to start laying my houses on here and try to figure out how I want to lay them. I like how they pop off that black. And I'll just kind of play around with them and see how I can fit everything on here. And I suppose I could have gotten them all on here as I've laid this down. I've got my deer. I just felt like my deer were too crowded, and I wanted my deer not to be over the top of my house because I thought the scale of it didn't look right if I had it next to the house. It made the deer look enormous up next to the house. So I'm going to take my shelf and just use some thin dimension and pop it up, and then we'll start assembling all of our little pieces parts. And this is sticking to my fingers. And I'm going to bring in another small piece, and then we'll just peel off the backer sheets and get it laid down on here. And we will start. I'm going to use the house to give me an indicator of how low I need the shelf to go, or how high I can make the shelf. I want the shelf to be up high because I'm going to have my banners hanging below it, and I need enough space to hang my banners below there. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it with my house so that I know how much room I need. And I just gently laid it on there, and I'm going to move it around how I want it and then push it down. And then we'll get our house situated. And now I've got room for my banners since I went more toward the top of my card panel there. Now the shelf actually has 2 little circle dots there. I think that indicate that's where you glue that little banner down on. And then for this one, I'm going to pop it up because it's going to be hanging off of that shelf and below the Mary, and I thought I wanted it to be better adhered than just hanging from those little strings. So I'm going to just cut down some tiny little pieces of foam tape and then put it on all the letters, and then we'll attach it to the card, and then it'll be good and secure, and I won't have to worry about it getting messed up or bent or anything. Today was a beautiful day. Oh my goodness. I got up and I don't know, it was 10 till 6. And I thought I need to see, because our weather has been just swinging all over the place. And I thought I need to see what I need to wear, because yesterday I wore jeans and a sweater. And when I got up this morning, it was already 62 degrees at 10 till 6 at the end of October in Indiana. And it said high of 79. I think it got hotter than that. So I wore shorts and a t-shirt today. It was crazy. Very sunny, very nice. A little windy when I got out to the school, the preschool, out in the country. It was very windy. In fact, we put our jacket on when we got out there. But in town, it was really nice and sunny, and the boys were able to play outside all day as they wanted to. In fact, they didn't go down for a nap until late because they wanted to play outside. So it was just a beautiful day. So we've got to appreciate these because I know what's coming. So just be thankful for every great day that we have. So next I'm just bringing in my card base and just kind of checking to see how this is going to look with that. Just kind of giving myself a little indicator, just making sure I like where I'm headed. And I'll just lay that aside, and I'm just going to get my pieces laid down on here. And then this is where I decide that I'm just going to go with one house and kind of figure out how I'm going to get this laid down. And if I just kind of overlap these trees, then I've got an area where my deer can stand and not be right on top of my house, and the scale doesn't look as crazy as it did when it was up next to that smaller house. And I'm just using that piece of paper to blot off any extra glue, because I've got that black panel there, and I'm trying to keep the glue as clean as I can. And so we'll just get this big house set down on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay my buck aside and get these trees laid down. And then I'll bring in some foam tape and pop him up and get him set down on there. And it's coming together. So I'm just bringing in some more of that thin foam dimension and just kind of putting some little pieces down here and there. You don't have a lot of landscape to work with there, so you need some really small pieces. And I'm trimming it up because I got a little bit showing there, and I don't want it to show when it gets laid down on my card base. There we go. We'll get our deer laid down on there. And now we've got all of our elements. We'll save our other house for another card. We'll get this panel laid down on our card base. And once I got it laid down, I thought I should have done some type of a technique to the back of that paper, that black paper. Maybe put some white stars or maybe some white snow or something like that. That might have been kind of fun. But I didn't. And, you know, this really is like a mantle on a wall anyway. So what I'm going to do is bring in some of these Spellbinders gems and just adorn it. And I'll just lay several of them down. Lately, I've been using a lot more gems than what I previously used on my cards, just kind of sprinkling them around everywhere just to add some shine and shimmer and interest and fill in the holes. So that's what I'll do here. And I've got 3 there, and I'll go ahead and put 3 more on the other. And then I realized that I've got an even number. You're supposed to do odd, so I'm going to throw another one down there. I don't think it really matters, but that's what I'll do. So that'll finish off my card. I think it turned out cute, and I hope you like it. Have a great day. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.